And welcome to the AMAZE ME recording. I'm Amanda Baker, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and 500-hour trained yoga instructor, but ultimately a intuitive human being here with my stream of consciousness and creating this sacred space where story meets soul and soul meets story. So you are home. You're home. You are home right now within yourself. You are home. Breathe and take that in. You are a rare human being that has stumbled upon or chosen to listen to this recording right now, and it won't reach many. It's rare for you to hear this, however it showed up for you. You are meant to know that you are home. What is home like for you? Home is comfortable and home is the familiar. And your home might be rare in comparison to somebody else's home. Maybe you want your home to be different. Maybe you like that it's different. Have you fully claimed that? I'm a therapist and I offer non-traditional yoga-based therapy that I created from my idea of therapeutic yoga, pulled from yoga psychology training, 300-hour yoga psychology training, and Hatha Raja Yoga 200-hour training, though ultimately it came about over the time of kind of following the typical process of what I've learned in my yoga teacher trainings to teach more of a Hatha Raja flow or a vinyasa style flow, which never really felt right to me. And so when I started pulling from different modalities, energy psychology, the kind of yoga that I really like, which is a plethora and mixture of certain postures and various what I consider like therapeutic techniques just from different trainings that I've taken or therapists that I've seen or things that have come about with my clients. It is not scientifically backed up. What I do, the kind of therapy that I offer, technically is not neuroscience or scientifically evidence-based. It's human-based. It's from my heart and soul in connection with the person, or right, even in this case, with you who is listening. Right now, we could say this is therapy, and I tend to say the therapist is you. I like having my own style, and I think most people like that about themselves too. They want their own unique twist on whatever it is that they're doing, but that's not going to fit in a traditional experiment or traditional science evidence-based results, because that follows, right, like the bell curve of taking a model, putting it into clinical trials with reliability and validity, right? And so you got to make it very, very, very precise and specific. And then you put in your hypotheses. And again, this is not my forte, so I'm just pulling from things that I slightly recall from undergrad and grad school, and so you can correct me, but that's not the point anyway. So when you get the results and you look at, okay, what is the majority? Did the majority benefit? Did the majority experience the same thing and have these types of results? Okay, we can say that this is evidence-based. We can say that this is backed by science. We can say that this works, and then we can put it out there for the masses, and people are going to gravitate to it. They're going to want it because they hear this works from a scientific experiment. But then there's people that are not in that bell curve. There are people that it didn't work for. And what about them? What about them? They deserve models and practices and therapeutic interventions that work too. And even the people that fall in that bell curve, where they may have received a specific model and had, extreme improvements or, valid improvements, they might also want a different approach as well. Most people are going into therapy wanting to be fixed, wanting their symptoms to subside, wanting to feel better. What I offer is you will become better at feeling. You will be better at managing your symptoms. You will connect back to your wholeness, where those symptoms don't even need to transpire because those symptoms are protecting you from something. Those symptoms are a response to something deeper in you that to me is not necessarily scientific and is not necessarily going to come about in a particular model. I'm not saying that I don't advocate for those models or that those models don't work or not to utilize them. I'm saying, hey, there's this approach too. And so in this approach, it might be rare, might be different, might be for those that traditional, typical therapeutic models have not been successful for. Have you been stuck and have you been going from therapist to healer to professional for years and years and years and still are struggling, still are questioning things, still feel like something's missing? It doesn't even have to be that you're like severely depressed. It might be this sense of there's something more for me, or there's this ache, and I'm not sure what to do with it, or I keep repeating this pattern, and I'm curious about that. Not I need to get rid of the pattern. Many people want to get rid of these patterns, but when we can look at it in a different way of this pattern is serving something, so I first need to be curious and understand the pattern, then you can have a relationship with it that maybe softens it, or you can appreciate the pattern for what it is attempting to do for you that you didn't even realize. That's the work that I do. I help you, I support you, I connect with you so that you open yourself up more to yourself. You are your own therapist, though sometimes we need a mirror for that, or we need multiple. And so I also do this in the group setting, group therapy, you could say, or a group model, coming together and allowing the space, the energy of it, and our brilliance in our own minds and interactions and communications, where we're magnetized to come together. And so that space, that energy, this is why not everyone's going to get this. This is why I say you're rare, because you're here taking this in. And so it's only going to land for a few people. And so if only a few people hear this video, okay. And so in that group space, breakthroughs happen, realizations happen, shifts within yourself, somatically, body, energetically shift and change. And that's home. Home is not a place necessarily that you go to. Home is in you, and you are at home right now. How do you feel towards your home, though? Because most of us, most people are searching for the feeling of home, and then they get it, and then, oh, they sabotage it. They mess it up. It blows up. Because you're not really believing in your own home or really seeing the home that's in you. So, I've done several years of my own therapy, and I tried out EMDR therapy because I felt like I'm repeating patterns and it is like leading me to feel miserable. And so in my own experience, being an only child, no wonder I like feeling rare, and having to occupy myself a lot, entertain myself a lot, often felt isolated and alone. Attended a school where I was the only Caucasian and only religiously identifying from my family of origin as Jewish. And so no one at the school was Jewish, so I kept that to myself. I don't feel like I belong here. Felt very different, and and there's an aspect of me that is like, oh, well, this is lonely and confusing. And then there's an aspect of me of like, I'm different. I'm rare. I'm my own like entity. I've called myself an alien before, and I like that. I like that. I don't think I've realized that before. I don't think I've actually owned that before, to show up in front of people or even here and to say, I thrive or I feel alive off of being rare or different. It is a huge compliment for me when someone says that. However, once they see me as that, once they like see me, I'm like, whoa, okay, well, now I'm terrified. I didn't realize this before. I didn't know this is what was happening. But something in me became um, scared about that, of like, I'm being seen for how I want to be seen. And then, and then it goes away. It's like, as soon as I'm really seen for how I really want to be seen, whether that's like true fully, right? Am I really rare? Is that my authentic self? Or am I creating some of that too? And so there's a part of me that's like, I'm just like everybody else. I'm human, just like everyone. I have insecurities and I struggle. And I also want to be seen for like, and I'm different. And like, I can laugh about it. But it's this level of awareness. And, and so when we perpetuate these things, we are repeating patterns that can sometimes be painful, because it's like, I'll get there. I'll I'll be liked for who I am. And then subconsciously it would be like, and then I'd mess it up. Then I'm like, no, no, they like me too much. I'm feeling smothered. I'm bothered by this. Or, oh, you like me? Well, let me really show you how you're not gonna like me. I'm gonna push you away. Or I just subconsciously are like, oh, now that they know me, now that they say they like me, they're gonna start acting different. And all of that. So many different examples of different ways that uh, I'm protecting myself from really allowing myself to be seen for who I am and sustaining it. So it's the sustaining of the desire of to be seen and connected to and valued for me. And then when it's there, it leaves. And then that's excruciatingly painful. And so went to EMDR therapy because it's like, oh, okay, this is happened so many times. And it's reenactment. It's reenactment of childhood, of, oh, I have a friend and that friend sees me, and then it's like, now they have another friend. And I'm not chosen. I'm not their best friend. They might like me, but I'm not their best friend. I want to be someone's best friend because I'm lonely. But we all like too. It's like very encouraged to have a best friend, a BFF, who's your best friend. And so, in feeling like I didn't have that, not having any siblings, parents who worked, parents that have their own crap, their own stuff going on because life is stressful, and feeling really alone. And so, no wonder it's like reenacting. This is not going to last. You're going to play with me for a while. You're going to be my friend for a while. I have your attention for a while, and then you're going to go away. And so going to EMDR, because this is like at the time, the really big, popular, evidence-based model, like this is going to work. This is going to work for me. Nope. It was interesting and enjoyable. And my experience isn't going to be everybody's experience. Some people probably have had really positive improvements. But what was I going there for? What was I trying to even really do for myself? Like this, fix me, get rid of my trauma. Well, what's my trauma? I mean, I have examples. You pick memories, and then you create a target of a self-limiting belief, and then you're working on through the brain bilateral stimulation. EMDR, for those who are not aware, is the eye desensitization movement reprocessing. And so you're utilizing your eye movement, or you're holding like a light bar, or things that vibrate, and it's creating bilateral stimulation. And the idea is, through the bilateral stimulation, you're literally moving the memory and the beliefs to different parts of your brain or out of your brain, so that you're not affected by it anymore. And then if it's gone, then, oh, you're not going to repeat the pattern. No, not my experience. And again, a lot of this is just anecdotal that I share, though, from what's coming through for me right now to say is I share it because you don't need another modality. You don't need another training. You don't need a certification. You don't need more intellectual information. You don't need another intervention. The most effective therapy is one that is grounded on the foundation of the therapeutic relationship. And so EMDR, just like any other model, even though it was backed by neuroscience, any other model that has gone through different clinical trials doesn't necessarily mean it's about the brain. Like EMDR has really been about the brain, whereas some of these other models have been, self-report through that type of trial of experimentation, where a lot of it is still anecdotal. And even what I offer, though, hasn't been through any type of clinical trial, it pulls from yoga, which has its own, I'm sure, research, published articles, and somatic work and trauma-informed care, exposure, CBT, DBT, mindfulness, acceptance and commitment therapy, tapping. I've done these trainings, and there's published, research articles on there. And so there's value in things being studied. There's also value in trusting yourself, because you are rare. And in your rareness, you are not like anybody else. So what works for you will only work for you. Or that's all that matters, is if it works for you. And so you can read this and be like, oh, this person said this was good, or this article said this was good, or there's a ton of ads for this thing. You, though, trust you. I went to EMDR because I trusted myself, even if I didn't trust myself. As paradoxical as that was, I got the information and I heard a lot about it. EMDR, super effective. I was at a space of like, I'm tired of feeling this way. And so I went and I tried it. And I did it for 2 years, year and a half, maybe. And what happened was I got worse. It brought up so many things that were suppressed and repressed. And there was a point in time where it was as if all these negative self-limiting beliefs kept racing thoughts of, you're not lovable, love doesn't last, the things that you want don't sustain. I had a lot of now new awareness, but it was like as soon as one thing was opened up, another thing opened up. And so it was overwhelming. And then experiencing this like physical, emotional pain with it, of the realization of how hard I am on myself. Like so harsh and so critical. Like, you're not enough, do more. You don't trust yourself. That was another one. Like, I don't trust myself. So it was helpful to get these beliefs, but then what? Of like, okay, we're going to keep doing the eye movement over and over and over again on not trusting yourself, or over and over and over again that love doesn't last, or over and over. It was like, as soon as one was done, here was another. And it was just perpetual, till the point of like, what am I doing this for? Why do I keep focusing so much that something is broken or wrong, or that I need to fix, that I am not able to hold for in myself, that I need to get rid of it? And that's what really radically changed in my approach once I discontinued that therapy of, I don't need to get rid of these beliefs. I need to notice them, acknowledge them, and be curious about them without any agenda, because your subconscious knows, your system knows when you have the agenda to reject the parts of yourself. And so, there's parts work, there's IFS, and I have an IFS therapist that I've worked with. And even still, what is the energy or the agenda that I'm going in with? Am I going into the therapy because I want to get rid of or fix or change these parts? Or am I going into the therapy because I want to love and accept my whole self? I want to love and accept my whole self. And I can do that right now because I'm home. My home is what's familiar. My home is what's comfortable. So I get, if that has been my familiar and comfortable, has been being isolated and alone and feeling unloved, then I'm going to create situations where I feel unloved, that the love is there and then it doesn't last. How freaking brilliant of my power that I haven't been given credit to, that I haven't been recognizing the evidence that I'm already that powerful, that I'm going to create what feels like home, even if that home is like messed up, even if that home is chaotic, even if that home is what we deem as a bad or unpleasant feeling. Like it feels unpleasant to be lonely. It feels unpleasant to be unloved. Why? Why? Can there be any sense of comfortability around feeling unloved? Because it is for some or for many. For those that feel rare, you likely feel rare because you feel like you don't belong here, or there's something about you that others just don't understand. And your mind works differently. Yeah. Because maybe the experiences that you've had that have led you to that conclusion. And you might like it. You might like it then. You might like that your mind works differently. Because for some people who have a brilliant mind like that, they might actually get a lot of attention. But if you didn't experience a lot of attention and had to keep that to yourself, then a lot of attention might actually feel uncomfortable. And then when you start getting that attention, you might mess it up because you only have a certain threshold for it. So the rareness or the rejection of yourself that amplifies your rareness, like, oh, I'm rejected because I'm different or rare. I'm rejected because whatever you've filled in the blanks, people just don't understand me. Or it could be, I'm so amazing and yet I still get rejected. What's that about? What's that about? They just don't see me for all of my amazingness. Well, if they all did, would then you still get to be considered rare? There might be something in you that believes as soon as you're seen for who you are, you don't get this special thing anymore. And that's common of like the connection some people have with, if I don't have my trauma anymore, then I don't have these other things that I might have subconsciously or secretly been benefiting from with my trauma. I won't have the chaos anymore. Maybe you like the chaos, or I won't get the sympathy anymore, or I am taken care of. A lot of people stay sick because they get taken care of by being sick, or they get the sympathy and the attention. And so they keep that cycle by staying sick. And so when you recognize the ways that you have been playing out these patterns in order to keep that feeling of familiarity or some form of attention or sympathy or being cared for or familiar as safe, because the other side of it is uncomfortable. The other side of it is not familiar. Being liked for you as you are. Do you like yourself as you are? Do you like your patterns? Can you understand them? Can you appreciate them? Will you come to love them and stay with yourself with them being there? What painful pattern do you repeat? And what can you come to appreciate about it and then lean into from a place of loving awareness? Maybe you like being rare and it's uncomfortable and unfamiliar to be connected on a bigger level, in a bigger group, to be accepted. Because if I'm accepted by this bigger group, then maybe I'm not rare anymore. That's mine. That might land for others. So now, I like, I get it. I get why I keep myself kind of on the outskirts. It's scary. It's scary to change patterns. And so you don't need to do it in one big way. First, appreciate the pattern. First, get why it's there. Bring it to the surface. You're home. Love the familiar. If the familiar is feeling rejected and you've compensated by being like, well, I'm rare, so I like this, then pair that with the feeling of, I'm isolated, I'm rejected, I'm left. You find that in your body, the places that you feel misunderstood, not enough. That's what you've added through shaming, through judgment. Where is that in your body? You ground right now. breathe, notice, and soften. Breathe. Where does this pattern reside in your body? And may you access the twisted, weird part of you that actually likes it, that might be enlivened by it. When you surrender to the feeling of defeat, to the feeling of powerlessness, to the feeling of failure, to the feeling of being alone. I feel this way, and so I get to compete, to be rare, to be powerful through control, dominant, aggressive. I do these things because deep down, I feel not enough, abandoned, inadequate, poor. You access the strange pleasure, satisfaction of those feelings as they make you who you are. Home. This is your home, and you're okay in it. Notice what happens in your body, the tingle sensation, the vibration, the energy. Taking a deep full breath in and out, letting that be. Nothing to fix, nothing to change. That in this full acceptance and love for all of you, you get to be you. No need for a new intervention, a new program. Choosing what you trust. And that's trusting in the patterns that you've created. That's trusting in your inner system. And that's trusting that what you resonate with and what feels good is what you listen to. Meaning that there might be something that feels good about the patterns as you stuck with them for a period of time until you won't, until you noticed, oh, I've played this game before. I've done this before. I'm not doing it this time. But only because you're ready, not because you're forcing. You're not forcing yourself to do something different, because then you'll just do it again. But if you genuinely feel ready to make these small changes, you'll see the synchronicities. You'll see the confirmations and assurance that keep you going. You are here because you're rare and you are ready to hear this, and that you have the level of awareness to apply it. So thank you. And yeah, feel free to check out a lot of where this approach comes from. Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott. I put a twist on a lot of her information while also adding in my own. And like I said, this is humanness, and this is what resonates with you and what I feel like is meant to be spoken in this moment. And whatever moment you hear it, as it lands for your ears, I may have changed my mind. I may have been like, I said that in that video before. Oh, well, I have a new perspective now. So all we have is the present. And in this moment, you're home as you are. And it's beautiful. So thank you so much. You amaze me. I love you.